Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post, publisher of more than 1,000 comic books and marketing expert covering explosive lawsuit, claims of bias against white men at Northwestern. Let's get into the story. Before we do, please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications. Give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate you guys. Coming from the Daily Wire, Affirmative Action lawsuit details how law school blackballed accomplished white men opted for unqualified black women. And of course, there's nothing wrong with qualified black women. There's actually nothing wrong with unqualified black women. But everybody needs to be treated the same when they're trying to go for a job opportunity. You can't hire people based on their gender or their skin color. No matter what you're trying to do, it's actually not legal. And from America First Legal, who's bringing this lawsuit. America First Legal sues Northwestern University for discriminating against white men in faculty hiring. Only 14% of law professor job offers went to white men due to affirmative action that blocked elite scholars in favor of incompetence, according to the lawsuit. And now this is pretty harsh, calling people incompetent. We will go over some of the details. And unfortunately, if you're not going to be direct, and you're not going to say incompetence or hiring based on skin color and unfair practices, there really isn't much of a lawsuit. It is a scathing lawsuit. They do get pretty descriptive about what they're upset about, but they do need to state their claim and call out what they see as unfair treatment. Northwestern Law School made faculty job offers to only 3 white men in the last 3 years, passing over intellectual giants in favor of less qualified black females, including one who graduated, quote, near the bottom of her class, and another who plagiarized when writing an exam, according to a blistering lawsuit filed on Tuesday. Charging that, quote, faculty hiring at American universities is a cesspool of corruption and lawlessness. The suit was filed by lawyers including Jonathan Mitchell, who was involved in the 2023 Supreme Court case on Harvard University admissions that blocked affirmative action, and signals that similar lawsuits could be in store against colleges across the country. The lawsuit delves into the details of Northwestern's recent hiring to paint a picture of affirmative action that is not simply a tiebreaker between equals, but rather the near total exclusion of highly qualified white males in favor of minorities with weak qualifications, and whose hiring typically ends in disaster. Quote, for at least the last 12 years, since the installation of then Dean Daniel Rodriguez, the leadership of Northwestern Law School has propagated and enforced a mandate to hire as many non-white and non-male faculty candidates as possible, according to the lawsuit. The lawsuit says it was impossible for even the brightest legal minds to reach a classroom if they were white. Northwestern declined to even interview Eugene Volokh, a prolific and internationally renowned legal scholar, for a job, according to the lawsuit, adding that Vice Dean Emily Cadence openly said that Professor Volokh would have been hired at Northwestern had he been anything other than a white man. You can't say things like that and not get sued. I have to say thank goodness for America First Legal, who is involved in about half of my videos at this point, because they're suing everyone on the planet who breaks the law. Meanwhile, it hired Destiny Peri, a black woman who graduated from Northwestern Law, quote, near the bottom of her class, something Northwestern's faculty was well aware of, and which ordinarily would be an absolute roadblock to being hired as a law professor. That is not someone that should be teaching other students. You have to have the discipline to study the work, succeed on the work when you're being tested, and then inspire the next generation. This is not going to inspire success. All they can hope for is that maybe along the lines, they've had other teachers that can actually teach them something. This is not just detrimental for the person that doesn't get hired, but this is detrimental for all the students who wind up interacting with someone that really has nothing to pass along to them. A student needs to learn from a quality teacher, or they're not going to learn anything at all. By the time Peri came up for her 3-year employment review, where the school decides to get rid of or promote junior faculty, Peri had published almost nothing. But fellow black professor Janice Nadler, who was in charge of the reviews, misled the committee by falsely claiming old dissertation chapters were actually new work. So now management is actually lying to try to keep these people on staff. It gets worse and worse. After that was exposed, Nadler shifted gears to complain that because of her race, the school had given Peri so many speaking opportunities that she had no time to write. So, because of her race, she had a lot of opportunities to speak at other schools and at other events, and as a result, she had no time to actually do the work that was expected, meaning that she would write things that would get published, and it would be good for her credibility. It would also be good for the schools, and it would prove that this professor should stay at this university. No such luck here. The committee voted to retain Peri despite being incensed by Nadler's dishonesty, according to the lawsuit. At the 5-year mark, when a decision on tenure is made, Peri had still failed to produce any scholarship that could warrant a tenured appointment. A tenured appointment, when you're working at a school as a professor, means that basically you get to work on what you want to work on. It's a great opportunity for someone. They know they have a secure position. They won't be fired willy-nilly. And they have the potential to have a long-term, well-paid academic career. However, because Peri actually never delivered published work, she was warned not to seek tenure. Peri then accused Northwestern of racism for denying her tenure, pretending that she was a victim of race and sex discrimination, when racial preferences were the very reason she was hired in the first place, according to the lawsuit. But she has a point. If they knew who she was when they hired her, if they knew she was basically a diversity hire, someone hired for skin color, someone hired for gender, someone hired to promote diversity, is it really her fault that when she said, hey, look, it's time to offer me this even better position now, is it her fault they didn't offer her the better position? They knew she wasn't doing the work. They knew she wasn't qualified when they hired her in the first place. They knew she was at the bottom of her class. She actually went to Northwestern as a student. They know what her grade and work history was. So why is that a problem now? She, although she's not qualified, actually has a decent argument to complain. Maybe they should give her a multi-million-dollar settlement. No other college would put her on its faculty, but Peri found employment at Harvard Law School in a non-teaching position at its Charles Hamilton Houston Institute for Race and Justice. So you know she really wasn't good at her job. But this goes to what I say often in these videos, which is it's one thing to give people an opportunity, but they have to work to have that opportunity. And they really have to earn it based on merit. And like I like to say, it's not just the organization or the institution that suffers. The individual suffers. Because if they're not up to doing the work, you never give them an opportunity to actually get up to the merit level to do the work. Is it really impossible for this person to learn to be a tenured professor? Maybe it is impossible. Maybe the brains ain't there. But I don't see why she can't learn, but someone has to get her on a path where she can learn the obligation and then see if she can rise to the occasion. Maybe she'll never rise to the occasion. Then let her pursue something else where she can deliver based on merit and do a great job. This is not good for people's careers, and it's not good for people's dignity. People should always and only be hired based on merit. And determination and hard work can make up for a lack of skill. If people do legitimately have a lack of skill, but they're passionate, they're hardworking, they're determined, they might belong in that position. They may just need a little extra support. But this person never got a position they were appropriate for, so they never were able to kind of find their way and build momentum in their position. Similarly, Northwestern hired another unqualified black woman named Candace Player, who, like Peri, failed to obtain tenure after proving herself incapable of producing scholarship that could justify a tenured appointment. Again, scholarship is work that they write on their own that is worthy of being published, and also, of course, does not have plagiarism in it. Player also struggled in the classroom and admitted to colleagues that she did not understand the material she was teaching and couldn't handle the students' questions. In one of her classes, Player gave a final exam in which she had plagiarized an exam hypothetical from another source because Player was too lazy to write her own exam question, according to the lawsuit. And this is the first time I've read in any of these articles or heard anywhere about somebody plagiarizing a question for their students as a professor and not being able to even understand the students' questions. This is not good for the students. It's not good for the institution. They should not be doing this. The plagiarism scandal led to her departure from Northwestern, and Player, like Peri, failed to obtain another academic appointment after leaving Northwestern. Instead, she now works as Vice President of Advocacy, Public Policy, and Street Outreach at Project Home in Pennsylvania. Then Dean Rodriguez had ramrodded Player's appointment through the faculty by threatening to withhold bonuses from any professor who had the temerity to question the wisdom or legality of her appointment. So literally the dean of the school was withholding bonuses from people, saying if you don't vote for her, if you don't suggest her, we're going to withhold your bonus. Player would never even have been considered for a faculty appointment at Northwestern if she'd been white or a member of a different race. And Player was hired over white male candidates who were vastly more capable and qualified than she was, according to the lawsuit. In 2018, Kimberly Urraco was appointed Dean of the Law School at Northwestern in a process that was secret and focused on identity politics and the exclusion of men, with the white female Urraco beating out a black female critical race theorist who was a runner-up, the lawsuit also added. In the 2019 to 2020 school year, Urraco made a deal with a conservative professor that if the faculty greenlit her problematic appointments, she would see to it that a gay professor, Ian Werman, was hired, even though he's white. After her candidates were approved, Werman was blocked, with then Associate Dean Sarah Losky saying, quote, at a faculty meeting that she opposed Werman's appointment to the faculty because he's a white man, the suit said. In 2022, the law school hired Jamelia Morgan, a black woman from the low-ranked UC Irving College, with only 4 years of teaching, and gave her a $900,000 budget to start a Center for Racial and Disability Justice. The center's website hasn't published a journal article in a year and a blog post in 6 months, and the suit said it only hosted 2 events. In all, in 2023 to 2024, Northwestern Law made 6 offers of employment, none of which went to white men. The prior year, it made 9 offers, only 1 of which went to a white man, whose scholarship focused on promoting affirmative action. In 2021 to 2022, it made 6 offers. And these offers, of course, are job offers, 2 of which went to white men, but 1 offer was made to someone who had 0 chance of accepting because he taught at a much higher-ranked school, perhaps a maneuver to make the statistics look less anti-white. The other worked in tax law, a specialty where there were few minority options to choose from. Accomplished white men like Volokh and Ernie Young, a longtime Duke professor and Harvard Law graduate, were rejected in favor of candidates with mediocre and undistinguished records, according to the lawsuit. The suit was filed on behalf of a group called Faculty, Alumni, and Students Opposed to Racial Preferences, which says it consists of people who have standing to sue because they may have lost out on faculty jobs represented by lawyers from America First Legal and Stone Hilton, in addition to Mitchell's firm. In the lawsuit, America First Legal went on to say that for years, administrators had thought they could flout laws preventing discrimination based on race, but the jig is up after the Supreme Court clamped down on race-based decision-making in a 2023 case on Harvard admissions. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Always love to see your ideas. Please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon with another story. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.